Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Find Your Best Digital Audience in 4 Hours or Less. My name is Monique Martin, and I'm a marketing manager here at Claritas, and I'm so excited to be your host for today's presentation. Before I give a quick introduction to our speakers, I want to make sure you guys know how to get the most out of today through your participation. We are recording the webinar, and you should see a link hit your inbox tomorrow afternoon to listen to the playback, as well as a link to download a copy of the deck itself, should you be interested in referring back to the written content. Now, on your screen, you'll see a few options on the control panel, like the ability to change your audio preferences via the drop-down menu. You'll also notice a handout section. We've uploaded tons of complimentary collateral for you, including a list of our digital media partner network and our full LiveRamp taxonomy spreadsheet. Feel free to download and save these at any point during today's presentation and think of them as our thank you for attending. Lastly, I want to call your attention to the questions box. This is where you can communicate with us over the next 30 minutes. Type your questions or comments here, and time permitting, we'll answer them live during our Q&A breaks. If we don't answer you live, we will most certainly follow up in the days after the webinar conclusion. Before I forget, if you enjoy what you hear today and want to share it with us and the world, use the hashtag ClaritasWebinars on your social media. We love getting feedback from you guys. Before I pass the reins over to our first speaker, let me go ahead and intro all of them. First up, we have Cam Weber, Manager of Digital Strategy here at Claritas. This is his first external webinar with us, and he's done a great job putting together some amazing content for you. Next up, we have Jenna Newman, an Account Director on the Communications team. Jenna was actually the one who came up with the idea for this webinar, based on her work with clients like many of you attending today. And last but certainly not least, we have one of Jenna's awesome clients, Mikhail Leiter, a digital sales executive from Adtaxi. Jenna's going to introduce Mikhail a little more formally later on, so I'm going to go ahead and let Cam kick us off. Cam, whenever you're ready.
Thank you for the warm welcome, Monique. And thank you all for joining us today as we uncover how your team can utilize Claritas's Digital Data Discovery Desk, or 4D for short. In just a moment, we'll explain what is it, how do you use it, what's the turnaround time, how to activate, provide you with a sample deliverable, as well as hear a client testimonial from our speaker, Mikhail Leiter at Adtaxi. But first, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Claritas or what we do, Claritas helps companies find their best customers and to sell smarter to drive market share. By knowing who you need to reach, what they need, and where to find them, both on the ground and by the media channels they consume, we provide a 360-degree view of the consumer. More than just standard demographics, we overlay behavioral data such as automotive, financial, lifestyle, entertainment, technology, and shopping preferences to identify the best path to purchase. The state of consumer marketing is an explosion of touch points. We developed the Digital Data Discovery Desk to help our clients deal with the rapid shifts of consumer behaviors. Our complimentary service aims to help our clients understand how their target audiences consume media, research products, communicate, purchase, and expect experience. In a world where consumers demand personalization, marketers and brands must embrace to thrive. I'd like to call out some of the major media platforms that our data is currently accessible through. Claritas is everywhere you're marketing, from Google DoubleClick, Facebook, Twitter, MediaMath, and the Trade Desk, just to name a few. We're enabled for your targeting through our relationship with LiveRamp. As Monique mentioned, you will find a complete roster of media platforms in the attachments of this webinar. Now, I believe it's time for our first poll question.
Perfect. So I have just projected the poll up onto your screen, and our question is, do you currently use an agency or do you activate digital campaigns in-house? So the options here, you use an agency, you activate in-house, neither or other, or perhaps, I don't know. So we'll give you guys just a moment to go ahead and get your votes in here, and we'll see what the consensus is. All right, I'm going to close the poll and let's see. So it looks like about 70% of you activate in-house, 5% use an agency, 5% aren't sure, and then the other 20% are neither or other. So I'm going to pass it back to you, Cam.
Great. Well, I'm glad majority of you all know how you're activating digitally. That's a great place to start. Let's get into some of the Claritas audiences you'll be able to activate on in the digital ecosystem today. So currently we have 2,400 proprietary audiences and segments to be targeted upon. First are our core segmentation systems of Prism Premier for lifestyle, behavioral, media, and brand buying consumers, Cycle for financial and insurance consumers, and Connections for technology and telecommunications consumers. Each break the entire United States into households of either 68, 58, or 53 segments respectively. Next, we have our behavioral audiences that span across verticals such as retail, lifestyle, energy, auto, technology, travel, and economic indicators such as net worth or income producing assets. I'll illustrate some sample behavioral audiences in just a few slides. We also have the ability to build a custom segmentation system with your CRM data plus Claritas data for your unique business needs. This too is readily available for omnichannel activation. Finally, through the 4D, we help our clients with unique audiences. These are built for your specific campaign objective. And by emailing our help desk alias of claritasdigital@claritas.com, you can expect our team of experts to provide a segment recommendation within 4 hours or less for free. As I previously mentioned, I'd like to go over what to expect when targeting on our behavioral audiences. Across industries such as retail, auto, travel, and lifestyle behaviors, you can target consumers that have recently moved, spend extra money on energy-saving appliances, stay at a Holiday Inn, own a Samsung smartphone, or enjoy a quality burger at dinner. We're perpetually growing our portfolio of data sets to provide a more expansive view of the consumer. This is a great opportunity for me to mention our new relationship with Zipscene to provide on-premise dining behaviors that give insight on how consumers enjoy their dining experiences. You'll find behaviors such as drinks Anheuser-Busch products, or eats chicken entrees, or eats out for Sunday football. Please let us know if there's any industries or behavioral data not accessible in our taxonomy today that would be of interest. We'd love to hear your feedback. With the rise of privacy and security concerns in today's data-driven world, I'd like to drive home that Claritas data is a privacy-safe solution. Our segmentation solutions are built with responsibly sourced data. Our segments are modeled or aggregated with no personal information, and Claritas is committed to protecting consumer privacy and the security of consumer and client data with stringent policies, protocols, and technical protections. Finally, we've arrived at the digital data discovery desk. We'll showcase a sample deliverable, as well as behind the scenes view of how we make our segment recommendations for your specific campaign. We want to be an extension of your team. Partner with us to help you navigate our sea of rich data to help make smarter targeting decisions in 4 hours or less. And did I mention it's free? In this illustrative use case, the advertiser Scoot Your Boot Energy Drink submits a request to 4D with their campaign specifics. We ask that you provide the campaign start and stop date, the media platform which the campaign will run, as well as a campaign objective and any other details that will help us make smarter segment decisions. Here, the client informed 4D that they were looking to increase their share in the energy drink market. They're in direct competition with Red Bull, Monster, and 5 Hour Energy. Their product is an organically sourced, holistic solution to the energy crisis consumers combat on the daily grind. They want to target on-the-go families that lead an active lifestyle, and they're looking to leverage segmentation to balance precision and scale. And they're currently in 5 key markets of California, Arizona, Oregon, Colorado, and Utah, and you can find their products at Sam's Club and Target. Once we've received these campaign specifics, we run our analysis based on the appropriate segmentation system. Here we're looking at Prism Premier segments projected to those 5 key markets that are likely to exhibit the following behaviors: consume competitive energy drink brands such as Monster, Red Bull, or 5-Hour, consumers that regularly eat organic foods and are concerned about family health, and households that have kids in the home to identify those families on the go. We look all across these behaviors to make audience recommendations like you'll find on the next slide. And I'd like to reiterate, this is a sneak peek of how we're identifying those high propensity segments to target and not included in the sample deliverable. We dive deep into the 2,400 plus segments so you don't have to. After we do the dirty work, what you do get is a clean view of the unique audience found on this next slide. Here we provide the source data utilized for our analysis and the Prism Premier segments likely to exhibit these behaviors. These are multivariate segments that fall under the unique audience solution. Quickly and easily make your selections on your preferred media platform under the LiveRamp data store. The next slide is a list of the behavioral audience recommendations that we provide that align with Scoot Your Boots campaign objective by searching Claritas or the behavioral audience name on your platform of choice to identify these segments. So why use Claritas Audience Solutions? It's a behavior-centric segmentation. Our segmentation uses how they act behavioral data, which is more actionable for engagement. Demographics play a big role in how we segment households, but it's not the sole driver. It's a multivariate segmentation. Our proprietary solution considers multiple variables at once, capturing a more expansive view of the consumer. Coast-to-coast coverage. As I mentioned earlier, our segmentation buckets all US households into either 68, 58, or 53 mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive audiences, giving you the ability to personalize at scale. And finally, our privacy-safe segmentation solution groups households across the US more intelligently than competing solutions. So let's get into some of the insights to impact with Claritas Audience Solutions. Now that we've got those audiences developed, here's how you can activate them. We enable our clients to make smarter, holistic implementation decisions across one-to-one marketing through digital advertising and direct mail lists, targeted local marketing through newspaper, radio, out-of-home, and events, mass media through television, and partner opportunities through sponsorships and co-branding. The path to digital activation is simple and efficient. First, you choose your audience after we've identified the custom or behavioral audiences that best fit the campaign. Choose your platform and reach your audience by searching Claritas or the behavioral audiences recommended. For optimal precision and scale, be sure to select all the multivariate segment recommendations and/or whichever single behavior audience recommendations you see fit. If your campaign or client profile requires even more customization, we can analyze your CRM or website visitors to find your optimal target audience. Learn to attract more when we create personas and recommendations to help tailor messaging, creative, and channel outreach, and activate on your target through customized digital or direct mail lists based on your target audience. Now I'll turn over the mic to Jenna Newman to introduce our guest speaker.
And before we have Jenna jump on, let me just ask one of the questions that came into the chat box. What's the status with Facebook? Can we still activate through them?
Absolutely. So Facebook has recently pushed back their third-party cutoff date to August 15th. So up until that point, it is business as usual. Those campaigns can run out through the remainder of August 1st. We do have a small form to fill out to continue targeting through our relationship with LiveRamp. Please just reach out to your account representative and we can get that form taken care of. Great question.
Thanks. We'll let Jenna jump in here and we'll save some of the other questions for a little bit later.
Excellent. Thanks, Monique, and thanks, Cam. And just to clarify, it's August 15th through October 1st. The campaigns can run through October 1st. So super excited to be on with you guys today. As Monique mentioned, this is an area of passion for me. So I am an account director here at Claritas, and I partner primarily with media clients. But honestly, the 4D inbox has something in store for clients across industries. So it was first launched back in Q4 of last year, and I was immediately enthusiastic about this offering because it addressed a lot of the pain points that I've been hearing from my clients. One of my favorite parts of my role is that I get to partner really strategically with my clients. And hear a lot about either what's working well, what's not working well. So along the lines of those pain points, I've been hearing that the digital ecosystem can be very complex and data discovery is daunting. There's a sea of online audiences available on hundreds of platforms, and many of my clients express frustration when it comes to navigation or simply that they don't have the bandwidth to support the increasing digital demand that's pouring into their companies. So I don't know if any of you can relate to any of those pain points, but I imagine not having a ton of time and having a lot of demand can be stressful and is relatable for a lot of you. So the reason that I'm excited about the 4D inbox is because it addresses each of these concerns, and it also demonstrates our genuine desire to be your partner in this digital age. We want to put our money where our mouth is. If we say we want to be your partners, we want to make sure that we have a service for you that will really be beneficial and help save you time. So as Cam mentioned, I don't know if you missed it, but this is provided free of charge to help you locate your audiences effortlessly and target them efficiently. And it's also a great cross-reference if you need an additional set of expert eyes to confirm audiences that you've already selected for a campaign or that you're looking to activate. So not only can we deliver recommendations and kind of help you start from square one, it can also be used as a consultative tool or a cross-reference for you to help get some expert review or insight to make sure that what you're looking to target is going to deliver for you. And beyond just that, it's also a great access point for any questions that you have about Claritas audiences in general, whether that's about the sourcing behind the digital data, whether it's about audience scale or platform availability. You can literally think of it as a service desk, like Cam had mentioned. So any questions that you have, even beyond targeting, it's a direct line of communication to our digital experts to make sure that you have the resources and the support that you need to really excel with your digital campaigns. So now I have the privilege of introducing our guest speaker today, Mikhail Leiter. I first met Mikhail back in March when I went to go visit her team in person. And at that time, they were partnering with a variety of advertiser clients spanning every industry from real estate to travel to retail. And they had acknowledged that trying to find and target audiences across such a wide variety of clients was becoming time consuming and challenging. So this is when we discussed the 4D inbox, as you can imagine, one of my favorite topics of conversation. And within a week, Mikhail had sent her first request and has sent several subsequent requests since then. So I'll pass it over to her in just a moment to tell you firsthand about her experience using the service. But first, I wanted to give you a little bit more information on her background. So Mikhail has been with Adtaxi for over 3 years and has 6 years experience in the advertising industry, working with a variety of agencies and large advertisers. She often describes herself as a modern-day madman, or woman rather, and enjoys chatting about advertising strategy and its many facets. So Mikhail, do you mind just taking a few minutes to share with us about your experience of using 4D and the Claritas digital data for targeting?
Not at all. I'm happy to. I've had the pleasure of working with Claritas and the 4D team a few times over the last few months since I was introduced back in March, like Jenna said. The 4D team is very easy to work with, extremely timely in their responses, and in their willingness to help. I've been familiar with Claritas, having used them frequently as a resource in college, and I'm so excited about this next iteration in digital data-driven decision-making, which we all know is crucial in influencing success for a brand. That said, I've been behind Claritas and their services for some time now, so it was really no surprise for me to see an immediate lift in my campaigns once I did layer on the Prism segments that indexed highest with our target audiences. Across 8 accounts with a focus on social media marketing, all of them were real estate vertical at the time, there has been an approximate 200% increase in leads with lead gen social campaigns in the first quarter after we applied the Prism segments. We did multiple optimizations at the time that we layered in those Prism targets. However, a vast majority were rather minor. So it's my firm belief that the help from Jenna and the 4D team had a big impact on our client's social presence and engagement, and that they could have a similar impact for all of you.
Great, thanks, Mikhail. And you mentioned in the example that you just talked about, you were working with a real estate client, but can you give us a sense on the phone of some of the other industries for the clients that you've worked with and used the 4D inbox over the last few months?
Absolutely. So we've applied it to some of the travel accounts, as well as some of the higher education accounts. And then as soon as even just this morning, I reached out to the 4D team looking for those who indexed highest with purchasing physical books.
Excellent. And for you, do you think the benefit comes from the expert opinions? Is it the time savings? Is it that it's free? What do you think is one of your favorite aspects of using the 4D inbox?
Can I say D, all of the above?
Sure. I guess we're splitting hairs at that point. It's free and it saves you time and you have expert opinions. So yeah, that's fair.
Yes, it's foolproof. Yes.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Mikhail. And again, we really appreciate you joining and sharing about your experience. So at this time, I'm just going to pass it over to Cam, who's going to talk about some of our next steps.
Thank you, Jenna. And thank you, Mikhail, again for those kind words. You know, it's these success stories that really get us excited, and we're hoping that we continue to support your team throughout the next couple of months and throughout the year, as well as those on the line that you are encouraged to reach out for your next campaign as well. So what do you want to find, or what do you want to do to find new customers? The steps that we ask you to do is, first, you've got to email claritasdigital@claritas.com. Provide the campaign start and stop dates and the preferred platform you'll be running these campaigns on. Provide the campaign objective and any other campaign specifics, such as the geography that you're projecting these targets, the personas of your target audience, competitors, or any other inklings of information that will help make these smarter decisions.
Okay, so we've had a couple of questions come into the chat box, and we have a few minutes left in the webinar, so I want to make sure we get some answers to those of you who've asked questions. And remember, if you do have a question, feel free to type it into that questions box. If we run out of time and we can't get to it, we'll follow up with you after the webinar, or if it's something a little bit more specific to your business, we'll do the same in that case as well. One of the questions that came in: would you ever simply use the 11 life stage segments for targeting? Say if my client found that most of his customers were in just 1 or 2 life stages. I'm thinking assisted living facilities.
I can go ahead and take that one. Certainly, you can absolutely target at the life stage group level. And just for those of you on the phone who maybe aren't familiar with life stages, they're basically a roll-up of either the 68 Prism Premier segments or the connections or cycle segments. And so basically what you'd be doing when you're targeting at the life stage group level, the campaign would still go to the segments that make up that life stage group. So it kind of still is operating at the segment level, but you're just selecting the life stage group as a whole. As always, if you want any more granularity, if you want to break it out, we can always go down to the segment level as well. But as a whole, if you're speaking to your client about life stages, they're familiar with that, you can certainly go ahead and target using that level of information.
Perfect. Another question, can I get segment recommendations on profiles I currently do not license?
Cam, you want to take that one?
Yeah, absolutely. With the 4D service, we're giving you access to our entire suite and roster of behavioral data. So we do that digging in the background to make those segment recommendations on behavioral data that you might not currently have access to.
All right, another question that's come in. Does the 4D team run the campaign for us or just provide strategy? Also, is there an additional cost for this, or do current subscribers get this consultation included?
I'll take that one as well. So we are the data for the targeting, so we are not running that campaign for you, but we are certainly more than willing to help you get that campaign launched and running on your preferred platform of choice. And there is no service charge associated with that as well. It's free.
And a good question, kind of follow-up question to that, can you help with measurement, the campaign success measurement?
Absolutely. We've got a partnership with a third-party measurement solution called Barometric, who can provide post-campaign or real-time campaign metrics and analytics to help you drive those marketing decisions. And we can follow up with additional collateral or information for whoever was curious about measurement.
And I think we'll do one more question before we wrap up. And like I said, if you have any additional questions, go ahead and type them in the chat box. We'll save them for our follow-up with you post-webinar. But our last question here is, do you only recommend syndicated segments, or are there other behaviors you recommend that we can activate on?
Absolutely. We can craft those custom audiences where we're doing that append with your CRM data to create either a custom segmentation, or we can go the syndicated route with the current taxonomy that exists today. So either custom or syndicated approach is perfectly fine.
And it's good to mention you can activate on the behaviors, right, or demographics, something like that, other than just the segmentation that we have available.
Great point.
All right, so as I mentioned at the top of the hour, we really appreciate all of you for joining us for today's webinar. We hope you're as excited about the Digital Data Discovery Desk, aka 4D, as we are. And if you're ready to begin using this completely complimentary service, remember you can email them at claritasdigital@claritas.com. If you have any questions in the questions box that we weren't able to answer live, I think there's one or two, don't worry, we'll be following up with you offline. And one final piece, when you leave the webinar today, you'll see a 5-question survey that should take you no more than 2 minutes to answer, but your feedback helps us improve our webinars so we make the most of your time next time. Thank you in advance for answering those questions, and here's to finishing the week out strong. Bye now.